Good Morning video link, they know to go over to the drive and they watch that. So it really follows along. The videos are going to follow along with the PowerPoint. So there's a little good morning, and then we do our warm-ups. So what I'll do is I'll sit with them, and I have the alpha cards from the classroom, and I just sit and do the flashcards with them. I know that they can't, they're not live with me, but I just say, boys and girls, you can shout it out loud. That's the nice thing about being home. You can yell, you can laugh, you can giggle, and we just go through those flashcards one by one. I try to give them probably about a 2 or 3 minute second delay, just because I know they are doing them. And I always laugh and say, you can pause your teacher whenever you're home, not in the classroom, so they can pause me and go back. And then I always do a phonemic awareness. And just a little side note for our district, and again, this could be different per district, we were allowed to go into the classroom and make a packet of work for the kiddos. So those were delivered prior, so in the beginning of all of this. So when I say, if you're looking up here at the screen, there's a worksheet, the parents already have this. And again, that's going to be different, per family, per district, but they were able to have these hard copies. So just something different. They went on a syllable hunt for the day. I taped a little video, and then what they did is they completed this activity. I do a poem a day. So they do and again, they did this in the classroom every day. We did a warm-up, we did phonemic awareness, and now they have a little poem, and I go through the poem with them, and I will show you some of those videos so you can see what we're doing. And then here I have our little letter friend. So if you use journeys in your classroom, this is where I'm talking about having that mirroring, that instruction. So I have PowerPoint lessons or smartboard lessons that I use in the classroom every day. And what I did, and I'll show you this later, is I actually exported them as image files and I uploaded them into the PowerPoints for the kiddos. So when they see this, it's not a surprise. They get really excited. They're seeing their letter friend. And then I did do a little link here so they can listen to the video. And then I also record myself teaching. So I really want them to still have that direct instruction as much as they can from behind a computer. So I will go over the letter sounds with them. And then here they practice their printing. So again, really mirroring what's going on in the classroom. And then here's their little handwriting assignment. And you can kind of see in here for parents, I just write little notes for them, emphasize starting at the top, go to the middle, go to the bottom whenever they're doing their handwriting. And I also, just for that ease for parents, because I know I have full-time working parents, just little tips where they can find the paper for easy access. So just show you another day. So here's again, and these are going to be smartboard files, which I'm going to show you later in the presentation. If you would want to do that, how you can enter those in. Here's their sight words. So again, it looks like a lot on the slides, but they're pretty quick, most of the slides. And then here's an example of an assignment that they can do. So for mine, they do hand in, my kiddos do hand in all of their work. So they have a couple assignments that they have to hand in every day, and they have their own individual assignment folders that they hand that into. I think it's important for the little kiddos to feel that sense of accomplishment, so I make sure they hand their work in. And then for math, we were counting by twos, so I always do a math video. I pop on there, we do a review of a skill, and then I teach a new skill. And then just for an example, I put a little science experiment on there. You'd be shocked how many pictures and videos I get of the science experiments. They really do love those. So that's just one example of a lesson that I do, and I'm going to pop back to those later, but I don't want to run out of time to show you another portion of it. So technology within technology, I guess, if you will. So just to tell you what I use within that PowerPoint, I use Screencastify, which is a really great tool because if you have Google, it's an extension of Google Drive. So if you download Screencastify, it is automatically on your toolbar. The reason I really love the Screencastify is I sit just like I'm sitting with you, and it records and then it saves to Google Drive. Because I use Google Drive, it's very convenient because it goes into a folder and I just transfer it over for my kiddos' lessons. So I don't know. So this code was there 2 weeks ago. So if anyone wants to try it, if you type in the cast_COVID, it's unlimited timed videos. Normally the free trial is you can only tape for 5 minutes, which it's sometimes tough to get it done in 5 minutes if you're doing a read aloud. But that little link can allow for free access to unlimited time. So I'm going to click the Screencastify just to show you where it would show up. So if you do download it, this up here, and it's kind of small, let me try to move it over, this little pink arrow right here, if you click on that, it will come up. My internet's, okay, here we go. So what you can do is if you hit webcam only and you hit record, that's as simple as it is. You sit right here, you talk and you record, and then when you stop recording, it automatically saves to Google Drive. You can also do the desktop share, just like I'm sharing my screen with you. I really use that a lot with my kindergartners. I didn't at first, and I was doing more teaching on my whiteboard, but then I just found that I could pull up their math pages and I do the work with them. So there's tools in there where you can actually draw on what you're doing. So Screencastify, I would truly recommend that just for your videos. I even have kids sending videos back on the Screencastify, which is really great. So another tool I use, and again, this is going to be specific to your district, but if you use Think Central has been a really big component of my instruction, because what you're able to do is get your journeys. We use journeys in Math and Focus, so I'm going to click on the link just to show you. And what you're able to do is get your reading and your math workbooks and your flip charts. And I think with these little guys, having the ability to go, oh my goodness, there's my, we call them our bear books, up on the screen, that consistency really helps. So I'm just going to walk through this in case you do have journeys or Math and Focus. So for me, I would hit journeys. And again, this isn't just specific to kindergarten. If you're on here and you do use one of the other grades, you can certainly do that. So I'll just log in here. And what I do is I do a lot of screenshots for my PowerPoints from the Think Central. So just to give you an idea, decodable readers, we used to do them for homework. Now I take screenshots of those. But here, just a little example for my kiddos' workbooks. I'm able to go in here, and then we'll just go to one of their pages. And I just take a screenshot of that. So it's Shift Command 5 if you hit those all at the same time. Sometimes it doesn't work for me when I'm in another program. So let's see if I can, there we go. And what I do, nice and simple, you can just move it over, hit capture, and then that saves right to your desktop. So now when I'm doing my PowerPoint, I just insert that page in there and the kiddos see, oh, you know what, Mrs. Stepanik, we did that in the classroom. I use that a lot for my interactive flip charts. It's really nice for the kiddos. Instead of just sitting here talking to me, I show them pictures and embed that into their learning. There's also the letter.
Excuse me, can I interrupt for 1 second? Could you explain how you did the screenshot again? You would look quick, because I do use this, but I just want to this the way you did it. That'd be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let me just go back into it. Let's just pick a page. Yeah, and you know what? The screenshots are a lot easier than trying to export them. So if you do Shift Command 5 at the same time, so those 3 keys together, and you just hit them. Sometimes you have to hit it 2 or 3 times. So, and then it will come up, and then you can, change this all around, and then you just hit capture. So once you hit capture, it's going to disappear, but it goes right to your desktop. And it's a picture file, so you don't even have to resave it. It just comes up, and you can drop it and drag it in there. All right.
Brittnee, just to clarify, you're using a Mac.
I am using a Mac. Yeah, thank you.
So if you're on a Windows machine, the commands might be different to capture a screen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the journeys, and that's the same with a Math and Focus. If you use that for math, you can pull up all their workbook pages. So that's what I use a lot of times for my presentations. So my next one, I have to, oops, went too far. My next one, it's kind of behind you guys, so I can't read all of it, but I use a smartboard in my classroom, which I'm sure many of you do, and there are actually smartboard files that you can buy through Teachers Pay Teachers, and they match the curriculum. So in our district, with a few of the teachers, we use the kindergarten ones, and they have so many different, the best way for me to do it is to actually show you, but they have so many different files on there. Let me just move this over, where you can do the same exact thing. So I just want to walk you through it in case you have them. And if you don't have them, it's such a great resource. And they're about $3 a piece. And it actually mirrors what Journeys teaches in their book. So it goes through the letter friends, the songs. And again, I didn't make these, I can't take credit for them, but what you can do is buy them. And then when you go into your, there we go. When you go in here, you can go through the different PowerPoints. For example, I'm not going to use this page, so I would take it out. But what you do is File, and then if you hit Export As, let me try to make sure I go slow, and then hit Image Files. So I'm just going to click this and then show you what it does. So I hit Image Files and then save it to your desktop. Minimize this, so it's exporting them. If you look at it's going to look a little bit crowded on my desktop, but do you see how, so every single slide that was in my Smartboard presentation, it's now on my desktop, and it's so nice because I just simply drag it and drop it right to my PowerPoint. So that allows the kiddos to see exactly what they would see in the classroom. They're seeing the sight words in the same context. So that is a really big part of what I use for my presentation. So let me just see here. Now I have quite a few little things down below. So let's go back to my slide. So those are really the three different tools that I use within that PowerPoint. I would have to say PowerPoint's probably one of the biggest things I use, and then embedding those different technologies inside. And then I also, a Zoom chat is worth 1,000 smiles. Well, if you've done Zoom chats with the little guys, they really love it. So another technology I use is Zoom, just like we're doing now. And I do weekly Zoom chats with them. Since I have AM and PM kindergarten, I have, 36 kiddos. So I do about 2.5 hours a week, and we did show and tell, which they really love because you guys know with having the little ones, they want to show you everything that they possibly can. So we did show and tell. Last week we did a guided activity, which worked really well. I only do groups of 10 students at a time. Sometimes I do 15 depending, but we did a guided craft for Mother's Day, which was really great. There's something about that connection one-on-one with the kiddos that they really love to see. I did a scavenger hunt, which they, for example, go find a fork and come back. And they really love that. A science read aloud. And then a really big one, we did a Zoom birthday party, and we just all got on there saying happy birthday to a little guy. And you would have thought that I gave him $1 million. He was so happy just to have his classmates sing. So again, I think with these little 5 and 6-year-olds, that's really important, that connection. And then I had some parents saying that, kiddos didn't want to do work as much, which again, we're going to see that during remote learning. So I came up with a little bingo card. So I just went into Microsoft PowerPoint and I put all of the different activities that they were doing for the week, and I can pull that up in a minute. And I just said, if you fill up your bingo card, you're in a drawing for a special Zoom session with your teacher. We ate pancakes in our pajamas last week. Again, it's only 10 minutes, and they got to see my girls and they got to see my dog, which to us, it's really, but that was a huge deal to them. So again, just using technology that way was really, really great for the kiddos. And then I do want to show you a couple videos of how it works whenever I'm doing my instruction. So we'll just go back into the Google Drive again. And let me just go back just to show you where they would be if a parent was in it. So they would hit the videos. And again, the videos take some time, but they're so worth it for the kiddos. I get so many emails just saying they love being able to see their teacher, even if it's for a few minutes at a time. So let's see if we can get up the video, and we will just go to this week. And we'll go to Monday. And hopefully, I think we have it set up so that you'll be able to hear, but just to show you my good morning video, just to show you how simple my videos are. I think sometimes when you hear 5 or 6 videos a day, you think that's a lot, but it's just a really quick little video of myself, and I can just show you. Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday. I just want to tell you something very quickly because I was looking at a calendar. So are you ready for this? You only have 3.5 weeks left of kindergarten. Can you even believe it? I always say to you guys, I remember when we stood up in front, I stood up in front of you our very first day at calendar, and we were putting up the number 1, putting up the number 2, and I know I said that a lot, the time goes really quickly, but kiddos, you're doing such an amazing job. You have 3.5 weeks left, and when I say 3.5, we really have 3 weeks of doing work together, and then that last week of school, so there's 3 days in our last week, it's going to be some fun stuff that you get to do. Okay, so that's just an example of a little video. I mean, it was just a little video of myself talking, and I just go through what they're going to do for the day. And I know I say it a lot, but I just try to tell them how great they're doing, because it's hard to not have the teacher right there with you. And I just want to show you another one for math, an example of, let's see if this is an example of me sharing the screen. And it's funny, and one of my tips is it's okay to make mistakes, and I actually have a little blooper wheel, and I'm going to send it to my kiddos because it doesn't always go perfect. And I always say in the classroom, the smartboard doesn't like Mrs. Stepanik, and that happens sometimes, but this is just an example of me sharing my screen.
This workbook page, we're going to be talking about counting by fives, a review, and then we're going to move on to counting by tens. Kind of quick because we've been doing this all school year. So let's count by fives to 100. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, good job. Remember, we can count by using our fingers, right? We can count objects, but another way that we can count is by using tally marks. When you do tallies, you have one.
Okay. Oh, I was going to show you something else in there, and just something with that. You can also pull up interactive websites. So I pulled up a interactive hundreds chart, and we counted by tens together. We counted by fives together. So those are just some examples of what I do for the videos. I don't limit those videos. I mean, even if it's a little short video of 3 minutes, just saying, okay, this is what you're going to do, just seeing your teacher really helps. So let's pop back over here. So
Brittnee, can I interrupt for 1 second? I'm
Sure.
sorry. I share my screen during my Zoom get-togethers with my kids, but I don't know how to put me, once you press share screen, how are you on the screen too?
So that was in Screencastify.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that may have been a little bit different. So that wasn't actual, those are pre-recorded, not actual live teaching with them, where I'm down below in the corner.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So what have I learned, and I'm sure most of you have learned this, that it's such a growth mindset that we have to remember, because I have to laugh and I say, it's almost like we're first year teachers. We're not. I mean, some of you have been teaching probably for 20 plus years, but we've never done this. So for me, learning how to at first use Screencastify was a big deal to me. So I think, I definitely learned little things are big things for teachers too, not just the kiddos. Connecting in kindergarten is so huge. And I know that you know this, being educators, but for me, just taking those few hours, I mean, those PowerPoint lessons, they may take me 40 minutes because I'm really trying to add in details, but I think that connection really helps the kiddos. And that's going to be the same with doing those videos and those Zoom sessions. And with these little tiny guys, academics are so important. We still hold them to that rigor as much as we can, but it's just really showing them that it's still school. We're still having a lot of fun, showing them we care about them. So that's what I've personally learned. And then just tips, take the extra step. I think if anything, it's easy to get overwhelmed as educators, especially in the beginning, but learning how to do something simple. And that's why I say simple in the sense that Screencastify and Google Drive, those little things really, I think, from what parents say, make a big difference. Consistency is key. I personally think that, again, when I say there's so many teachers who are using these really great other resources, which I do hope to learn, for me, just having that consistency with my kiddos, doing those PowerPoint, taking those exported screens and allowing them to feel like, okay, this is school, is a big deal. And then don't be hard on yourself. I think that's another tip, because I make mistakes. If you could see how many videos where I don't have sound or I say the wrong day of the week, it happens, and we're all in this together. I think that's a huge deal. So those are any tips if I can offer anything. And the next steps, I think I do want to, just learn some new fun activities and tools. There's so many great technologies that I'm sure so many of you use in your classroom. So I think that's what I want to do. Just learn. So thanks so much for coming. I hope I didn't even look at the clock. So hopefully I didn't go too quick or too slow, and we have some time for questions.